Hey everyone, Joshua Kirk here with you once again, and now it's time for one of two year-end lists I have planned for the end of this year, 2022. For this video, it's going to be my top 50 songs of 2022, and the reason I decided to do two year-end lists this year is because 2022 has just been a very fruitful year for music. I enjoyed lots of albums, but also enjoyed quite a few just individual songs in general as well. This is just a list of the 50 that ended up leaving the biggest impression on me, that I connected with the most emotionally, or like just a lot of these songs just generate the most visceral enjoyment out of me. But we're not going to waste any more time. We're going to get right to it. Starting off with number 50, Denzel Curry, Zatoichi, featuring Slowthai. Following that at 49, it is the ethereal cloud rap banger from Blade and Echo 2K, Faust. 48, it is an absolute vibe of a pop rap song, 90 Proof from Smino, featuring J. Cole. 47 is another very ethereal cut from Jane Remover, formerly known as Delete Zeke, Contingency Song. 46, it is Wormrot's very unique amalgamation of grindcore, black metal, and screamo on Glass Shards. 45, it is Shame with Fingers of Steel, really excited for that band's upcoming album. 44, it is Joey Badass with his touching tribute to Capital Steez, Survivor's Guilt. 43, it's Phoebe Bridgers going in a bit of a indie-tronic singer-songwriter direction with Sidelines. 42, it is the sci-fi jazz opus from The Comet is Coming, Angel of Darkness. 41 is a very dark and catchy post-punk track from Preoccupations, Ricochet. And then rounding out the 40s is the tongue-in-cheek bop from Harry Styles, Music for a Sushi Restaurant. 39, it is Kendrick Lamar with The Heart Part 5, which needs really no introduction. 38, it is Gospel with one of the most insane post-hardcore tracks of the year, Dear Ghost. 37, it is Pusha T with Let the Smokers Shine the Coops. Unfortunately, his latest album didn't quite make the cut on my 50 albums this year, but it's still a banger with some really insane Pharrell production, and Push sounds hungry as usual. 36, it is Kilo Kish with the fun and quirky bop No Apology. 35, it's one of the more rockin' tracks from the new Florence and the Machine record, Dream Girl Evil. 34, it's Flume with Escape, featuring Kuchka, really fun and colorful EDM track. 33, it is Gene Dawson's odd fusion of indie rock, grunge, and rap on three heads. 32, it is the fantastic dancehall banger from FKA Twigs, featuring Shy Girl, Poppy Bones. 31, it's the idiosyncratic rock track from Jack White, Into the Twilight, and then rounded out the 30s is the heartwarming country ballad that is Plains with Hurricane. 29, it is spiritualized with the euphoric and chaotic The A Song, Laid in Your Arms. 28, it's Big Thief with Simulation Swarm. 27, it is one of the most fun and hilarious bluegrass tracks of the year from Adeem the Artist, Going to Hell. And then rounding out the bottom half of the list, it is Conway the Machine with Lockload. One of the spookiest sounding beats I've heard in rap this year, and the chemistry between him and Beanie Siegel is pretty fantastic. We're there at the top half of the list now, starting off with 25, the heart-wrenching ballad from Madison Cunningham, Life According to Rachel. Just beautiful strings on here, love the songwriting, her vocals are fantastic. It may not be totally representative of her new album, but it's definitely proof of the versatility she shows and how she can do all kinds of different songs really well. 24, it is Hudson Mohawk with Big Stan, which I had such a good time with the song. It's one of the most colorful, fun, and kind of out there little EDM tracks of the year. The production's great, and just the progression of it is really fantastic as well. 23, it's Everything Everything with Jennifer, which is just a really catchy, heartfelt, but also kind of nerdy little pop rock cut. Easily my favorite track from their new album. 22, it is the empowering bop from Muna, What I Want, which is easily the biggest of the bops from their latest record, which is actually full of bops in my opinion. I just love the energetic vocals, the production hits hard, and I just think the lyrical message about finally finding that thing you've been hungry for all your life, and just kind of the satisfaction you feel from it, yeah, it's got a fantastic little energy to it. But at 21, we have a track that is absolutely not a bop, and not really a good time at all, but I still love it all the same, and that is Chat Pile's Slaughterhouse. This track is disgusting, it's heavy, the vocals literally sound like someone in the middle of a horrible or traumatic experience just crying out for help. And yeah, I played this song probably a little more than I should have, but I just can't resist how amazing the production on this song is and just how visceral of a track it is. Rounding out the 20s, we have Charlotte Adigéry and Police Papul with Ish Mwen, which is easily my favorite track from their album this year, which had a few like kind of little electro pop bangers on it, but this track is definitely my favorite in terms of I love kind of the bilingual lyrics on here. The vocals are hypnotic. The production has just such a rich groove to it, and yeah, it plays into the narrative of their latest record, I think, really well. So yeah, love this track. But at 19, we have yet another banger and a fantastic hip-hop posse cut from Danger Mouse and Black Thought, featuring A$AP Rocky and Run the Jewels. Strangers. First off, beat on this track is one of the most dirty and hypnotic sounding instrumentals I've heard in rap this year. And you know, the fact that it's coming from a producer like Danger Mouse is pretty insane. All four MCs absolutely go off, and there's one lyrical gem after another from all of them. And yeah, this is just, I'm surprised we didn't get this sort of collab before, because the way it panned out is like, it sounds awesome on paper, but it's even more awesome in execution. 18, it is Barty Strange with Wretched, a really cool fusion of indie rock, emo, and kind of glittery dance pop going on this track, and there's also a bit of a folky second verse as well. This song has different phases, and it pulls from all these different sounds, but yet they all come together so well, and I think the lyrics on here are great. His vocals are passionate, and I think the chorus is one of the most euphoric hooks I've heard in an indie track this year. Sadly, his newest album didn't totally live up to my expectations, even if a lot of people seem to be loving it. But still, like, at least it gave me such fantastic tracks that are like kind of huge achievements in his career, and I think this song is absolutely one of them. 17, it is the insane experimental rock banger from Black Midi, Welcome to Hell, which really, there couldn't have been a better title for this song. This song basically takes you to hell, and it's a pretty fantastic ride, I should say. I love just all the different switch-ups throughout, and even with it being as intense and as chaotic as it is, it's still very carefully put together and precise. Like, yeah, it strikes that balance between what they were doing on their first record and, you know, kind of the more technical abilities they put together on their sophomore, and pretty much that's what their entire new record is as well. And yes, this song just, it's visceral and it hits absolutely hard. 16, it's yet another kind of out there cut from the underground this year, and that is Gorillaz with Cannibal Capital, which I did not get into this band until this year. Sadly, speaking of records that didn't entirely live up to expectations, I would say that is even more so the case with Gorillaz. Like, I mean, I enjoyed going back and listening to their older stuff, but like the more I sat with their new record, the more I just found myself kind of just not really clicking with it as much. But I think this song, you cannot tell me that this song is not a legit banger. It just sounds so, it's psychedelic, it sounds so fried, like a great Flaming Lips track, and yeah, it's just got such cool production techniques going on, and yeah, it's just got a great groove to it. 15, we have one of the most insane punk bangers of the year from Special Interest, Concerning Peace. This track is just in your face, chaotic, it just does not give a fuck, and that's what I love about it. I mean, just the vocals on it are awesome, and I think the production and the groove, the pulse it has, like, the first time I listened to this album, this song, I just kept going back to it because of just how excited it made me feel. 14, it is we have a song that has probably my favorite hip-hop samples of the year, and that is Gais Guevara with Patrice Cooler's Stole My Lunch Money. I mean, does Gais go off on this song, and do I think the lyrics on here are really interesting and thoughtful? Yes, but those samples, man, just the dramatic opera sample in the first half and just how seamlessly it slides into the second half where we get that beautiful Silk Sonic flip and sort of putting that in a whole new context. I don't know how he does it, but it's just really wild, and yeah, it's definitely easily wins the award of like most creative and out there hip-hop samples of 2022. 13, we have the very touching rock track from Beabadoobee, Pictures of Us, and you've probably already heard this from the fans and some people who have covered her new album. This is her best song. It may not be the best structured song on the whole album, but just that euphoric crescendo that it hits near the middle is just fantastic. And yeah, I think this song, just the progression of it is fantastic, and it's one of those songs that kind of gets me a little choked up listening to it because of just how like powerful and kind of just like warm the song really feels, and also co-written with the 1975's Matt Healy. So 1975 fans, if that, hopefully that's an easy sell for you because this song is great. Number 12, we have a real banger, or rather a real odyssey of a dance pop track from Beyonce, Virgo's Groove. This song, oof, man, this song is just literal heat. Just the production on this thing and Beyonce's performance and just her vocals throughout just keep me engaged. Like, it's almost kind of hypnotizing, this song. Like, the moment she starts singing, yeah, she just does not lose my attention the whole 6 minutes, and I don't even mind the song being that long just because of all the different phases it goes through and just how, yeah, it's a lot of fun, and yeah, it very much is easily the highlight of her latest full-length LP. But at number 11, as we get closer to the top 10, we have one of the most achingly powerful country ballads of the year, Orville Peck, Let Me Drown. This song, this is quite a career-defining moment for Orville. Just his vocals are so powerful on here, and I think the instrumentation sounds lush and beautiful. Very well-written lyrics as well. I mean, it's one of those ballads that's a little over the top and a little theatrical, but yet effectively, like, cutting emotionally, and yeah, it's just Yeah, this is pretty much objectively on all levels, I think, Orville Peck's best song. But we're here in the top 10, ladies and gentlemen. Top 10 songs of 2022. Number 10, we have a very passionate and kind of awe-inspiring little singer-songwriter ballad from Ethel Cain, American Teenager, which, first off, I love the way that this song blends a bit of a heartland rock sonic palette with a bit of this like gothic and kind of almost like shoegaze kind of sound. Yeah, it's really cool how that song, sort of hits both those notes. And also the lyrics on here. I mean, we all know the pros and cons of being a teenager, but when you're growing up in kind of a rural South sort of community like Ethel Cain did, like, it adds a whole new layer of just kind of, yeah, it's uncertainty to it all, and there's a lot of really quotable lyrics on here. Her vocals are awesome, and the chorus definitely hits hard and hits this strong state of euphoria, and yeah, it's just a great kind of way to sort of kick off the album, not counting the intro track. Number 9, I think this may be my favorite hip-hop song of the year. Definitely the best hip-hop posse cut of the year. And that is Billy Woods with Denmark Vesey, Elucid, and Quelle Chris, 9X. First off, beat on this song, like, how did Preservation dig up those harmonica samples and, like, bring in that dun 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 dun, like, that kind of just dirty sounding bass? Like, this is like one of the craziest, wildest beats I've heard in hip-hop. I mean, doesn't matter if it's abstract hip-hop or mainstream rap, any kind of rap at all. This beat just, it stands out, I think, so well, and I think all four MCs, from those first couple of lines Billy Woods drops to just those really atomic truth bombs that Quelle Chris delivers near the end of his verse. Like, this song is, yeah, it's definitely, there couldn't have been a better centerpiece track for Ethiops, because, yeah, this song just, there's so many little nuances to it, and I discover something new every time I hear it, and it's also just a lot of fun to listen to as well. Number 8 is simultaneously one of the catchiest, but also one of the darkest indie pop songs of the year, and that is the 1975 with Looking for Somebody to Love. This song just, I love the groove to it. It's just, it sounds so joyful, but yet the lyrics of the song could not be more unsettling, as they're like told from the perspective of a school shooter, and like it's essentially like pumped up kicks for the 2020s in a way, and that is a compliment, by the way. And yeah, this song is just, the juxtaposition is great, and on top of that, it's just a straight up bop. Number 7, there probably wasn't a more timely rock song for 2022 than this one, and that is Petrol Girls, Baby I Had an Abortion, which not only is the song fantastic in terms of the relevance it brought, especially since their latest album was released literally on the same day Roe v. Wade got overturned. But just the guitars, the mix on this song is heavy. Like, it's one of the heavier sounding Riot Grrrl songs I've ever heard, really. And just, I think the vocals on it are just unhinged. Yet another punk track that just does not give a fuck. And I just love her whole perspective, and she's sort of bringing in her own real-life experience to sort of relate to this whole situation, and yeah, the song just goes hard, and the world just needs this song right now. I'll make that pretty abundantly clear. Number 6 is easily my favorite electronic song of the year, and that is Def's Dynamic Shroud with Judgment Bolt. This song technically came out in January, but it wasn't until their entire new album dropped that I finally sort of became very addicted to this song. It's just a vaporwave banger, I'll say that, and just the way they bring in all those samples and just the little like details in the production is just, yeah, this song is absolutely a thrill ride from front to back. Like even that kind of ambient midsection goes pretty hard as well. But we're there really high, ladies and gentlemen. My top 5 songs of the year. Number 5, if not for one other song that's a little bit higher on this list, this would be like my favorite rock song of the year. And that is Viagra Boys with Ain't No Thief, which has just one of the most disgusting mixes I've heard on a punk track this year. Like, in a weird way, I've seen this trend lately in the underground, where there's a lot of punk tracks that are trying to bring in kind of the heaviness and sort of the griminess of a lot of, like, sludge music or just kind of heavier strains of rock music. And this song, I think, is a great example of that, and I just think the lyrics are really funny and just so smart with the way they're framed in the song. And yeah, it is just, it's so unhinged and so just nasty, and I love it. Number 4, we have a song that is absolutely the opposite of that song. This song gives me such warm and fuzzy feelings, more than like any other song this year really did for me, and that is Magdalena Bay with All You Do. I liked Magdalena Bay before this album, even if I was not one of those people being like, yeah, they're the best thing to happen to pop music in a long time, but I heard this song and I was like, fucking A, they just made a bop. Like, I just love the production on this song, and its usage of EQ is done really well, and that kind of dreamy, psychedelic second half is, yeah, it's such a vibe, and even with the vocals, like, the way it just all comes together so well, and how it has kind of this 60s pop sound, I mean, yeah, like, move over MGMT, they just made a fantastic song that may even be a little better than some of the songs you've made in this style. So yeah, roast me all you want for that, but either way, I love this song, and yeah, I am excited to hear what Magdalena Bay gives us next. Number 3, we have yet another fantastic bop in the indie pop genre, this time from First Aid Kit, Out of My Head. Like, this song, First Aid Kit was a band that I had liked before this song, if not necessarily well versed in them, but this track, man, just, the production hits hard. I think their vocal harmonies are fantastic, and it's not even a super deep song lyrically, but it just creates this strong euphoria out of me when I listen to it, and it just makes me so damn happy listening to it. And yeah, this is like a career-defining moment for a folk pop duo that's been at it since like the late 2000s. So that's quite a feat right there. Number 2. Really, there was no other song in any genre this year that evoked the emotionally visceral reaction out of me that this song did, and that is the closer, the 12-minute opus from the new Black Country New Road album, Basketball Shoes, which a lot of the diehard fans have pretty much argued this is like contender for their best song, and I'm not about to disagree. I think the different sections of the song are just done so well, and how seamlessly they go into one another, despite feeling like two different songs in one. Just, yeah, the progression is fantastic, and there's lots of really quotable lyrics on here, and just, yeah, it does not lose my attention the whole runtime, from the kind of Midwest emo sort of section in the first half to just those very chaotic 3.5 minutes that, yeah, I haven't felt this way through listening to a song since, like, Phoebe Bridgers' I Know the End. And you know that is saying a lot. And, yeah, this song is really just proof that even with Isaac Wood leaving the band, it's not so much like the end of an era for the band, but the beginning of a new one. But now we're there at my number one song of the year, which I pretty much knew this was going to be the case right from when I first heard it, because, yeah, I got so excited and so euphoric, and yeah, I was just so delighted that this artist finally came through and sort of, in a way, gave me that, like that lightning in a bottle burst that I've been wanting to see from her for a while. And that is Maggie Rogers with Want Want, which, this song, I mean, for one, it's definitely a bop. That's for sure. I think the production is awesome, and I just love how thick and sort of compressed it sounds. Like, it definitely has that vibe similar to that of, like, you know, like something B.J. Burton could produce in a way, which is kind of interesting. And I think her vocals are passionate and full of energy, and the lyrics of the song, it's not necessarily the most deep song you're going to hear, and you know, even though you know it is a song about sex, like she said in her statement, it's not like super like on the nose, like, and really it's one of those songs that could be interpreted in other ways as well, because it's just, yeah, it's such an empowering song, and yeah, it's just, yeah, it hit hard, and it's one of those songs. So, like, really, this song, the Muna song, and the First Aid Kit song, I think are all three sort of indie pop songs this year that just, like, give me this strong adrenaline kick when I listen to them. That's just so exhilarating and leaves me coming back for more. And yeah, I'm couldn't be more excited to say Maggie Rogers as my favorite song of the year, and I'm even more excited to talk about her latest album once we get to that list. But yes, Want, banger. But there you go. Those are my top 50 songs of 2022. I had a lot of fun putting together this list. I hope you enjoyed hearing me talk about all these songs, and hopefully if you've heard some of these songs, you enjoyed them as much as I did. And any songs in here you haven't heard, hopefully you got a few good recommendations in here, and tell me what some of your favorite songs of the year are. I'd be curious to hear what they are. And I'm really happy with my list, and that's pretty much all I gotta say. So this is Josh Kirk, signing off.